Hi everyone. Today I will guide you through the basic algorithm scripting section of FreeCodeCamp's legacy JavaScript algorithm curriculum. We are going to tackle reversing a string. My goal is to guide you through solving the coding challenges and explain my thought process. For this problem, we're given a string of characters and we need to write a function that accepts a string as a parameter. Our goal is to return that string in reverse order. We may need to convert the string into an array before we return it. For this approach, we'll use JavaScript's built-in methods. First, I'm going to rename these variables so that they make more sense. Next, I will create a new variable called result. This will store our final result. To begin, we need to use the string split method to convert a string into an array. The split method can only be called on a string type. It takes in a separator or delimiter as an optional parameter. If the separator is an empty string, then every character of the string is separated and stored in an array. Let's create a variable called string array. This will store our array. Next, let's run the split method on our string parameter and store that value inside our array. Let's pass in an empty string. We can test by writing or logging the array value to the console. As you can see, we have an array containing the individual letters. Next, we will use the array reverse method to reverse our array. The reverse method overrides the original array and reverses the order of the elements in the array. The first array element now becomes the last, and the last element becomes the first. Let's create a variable and define its name as reversed array. Next, we'll run the reverse method on our string array. Note that the reverse method will modify or mutate the original array. We can test and log the reversed array to the console. We can see that our array is now reversed. Next, we will need to use the array join method to turn our array back into a string. The join method joins the elements of an array into a single string. It takes in a separator or delimiter as an optional parameter. If no parameter is passed into the method, it defaults to using a comma. To implement this, let's run the join method on our reversed array and reassign it to our result variable. Here, we'll pass in an empty string, so our result does not contain commas. We can test one last time and log our result value to the console. You can see our string is now reversed. Let's submit our solution. For this approach, we will use a decrementing for loop. We will refactor again. However, this time, we will initiate our result variable to be an empty string. In JavaScript, strings are considered a sequence of characters, where each character is at a position starting at 0. Below is a string with the position or index shown below each character. We use the length property on a string to find the last character. Next, we're going to create a variable and call it lastIndex. This variable will store the position or index of the last character in our string parameter. When we log lastIndex to the console, we see that it is the last character in our string. Next, we will use a for loop to loop through our string. In JavaScript, loops can run a block of code a number of times. The for statement creates a loop with 3 optional expressions. Expression 1 is where we set up our necessary variables to begin the loop. Usually, we initialize 1 or more loop counters. Expression 2 defines the condition for the loop to run. The loop will continue to run the code block as long as the condition is true. Expression 3 is where each time the code block in the loop has been ran, we can increment or decrement our loop counter. Here is an example for loop. To implement the for loop, we need to initialize our counter to be the last character in the string. For the condition, we will run the for loop until our counter reaches 0. For the last part, we will subtract 1 from our counter every time we loop through the string. Then, we add each character to our result variable, starting with the last character. We can test one last time and log our result value to the console. You can see our string is now reversed. We're ready to submit our answer. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again.